Good evening and welcome out to tonight's Tackle Trading Onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank with Tackle Trading. I'll be taking you through the website this evening, just letting you know kind of what we're doing, when we're doing it, where you can find it, tell you a little bit about us as a trading community. So hopefully by the time we're done, you'll have a better idea of what we're all about here at Tackle Trading. I mean, really in a nutshell, I mean, what we are is a group of traders that have come together to share ideas, help each other out, have each other's back, right? The best trading community out there, in my personal opinion. However, when I'm explaining tackle trading, I like to break it down into three parts, into three components. The things that you do on your own, that's going to be some courses and blogs and things, some of the tools that we have. And I think you can kind of do at your own pace. Things that you can do with others, basically the schedule. We're meeting with our team in a variety of ways each and every week. So I'll kind of run you through what that looks like. And then lastly, our weekend reports, our tackle newsletter, stock options, and commodity reports, where we can kind of share a look ahead to the upcoming week in the market, as well as talk about some ideas going into that upcoming week. So that'll kind of be the angle that we come at it here this evening. Let's dive right in. Let's talk about the things that you can do on your own. We do have a variety of classes available to all of our pro members, including the 7-step guide to trading that will help you put together a little bit of a, I guess, get organized, particularly if you're a newer trader. Typically newer traders they don't really have a smooth routine yet, right? And it's understandable. You don't have one until you have one. So hopefully it can help you from that point of view. Hopefully it can also kind of give you an idea of kind of the tackle trading approach as well. While there's no two traders that are exactly the same, we do here at Tackle Trading share some core ideas, I believe really can be a helpful place. If you're a veteran trader, hopefully you can get some ideas to make your routine a little bit smoother. I bet there's one or two in there that can help you out. In particular, though, if you're a new trader, I think that one will be very, very helpful for you. We've got a course on technical analysis. Of course, as traders, we do a lot of charting, right? And that's true whether we're day traders, swing traders, crypto traders, cash flow traders, trading stock, futures, options, whatever it might be. We're all going to be using technical analysis. So the better we are at that, of course, the better, right? And so charts, and more charts, support, resistance, trend, momentum, reversals, patterns, all of that good stuff you'll find there in Technical Analysis 101. Over in the Options 101 course, we are big fans of options here at Tackle Trading. We're going to talk a lot about what's kind of going on when you buy or sell that option. We're not going to talk a ton about strategies. I'll show you, where you can find those here shortly. We're going to talk about, what are the factors that are influencing the price of that contract, right? Talk about the Greeks, talk about implied volatility, talk about liquidity, all things that are very important in understanding why the contract is behaving the way that it's behaving. And I think the better we understand why the contract does what it does, the easier any of the strategies we're using are going to be. If you've ever found yourself interested in either futures or Forex, not quite sure where to start, we do have courses in those markets as well. I know not everybody wants to trade those markets, and that's fine. We can trade what we want and not trade what we don't want. But if there's nothing wrong with trading those markets, right? There are certainly some things we need to understand about them if we are going to trade them. And we can kind of get you jump started there in the Futures or Forex 101 course. Regardless of what type of things you like to trade, what type of time frames you like to trade on, we do need to have clearly defined systems and rules in place, right? Governing our actions as traders. I think we all agree with that at face value, but it's one thing to say it, another thing to do it. The System Development 101 course is designed to help you get your trading going from that systematic perspective, building out those systems. It really is a fantastic course that I can't recommend enough, regardless of your experience in the market, the products that you like to trade, the timeframes that you like to trade on. I think you'll get a tremendous amount out of that System Development course. You'll notice we have a handful of premium systems here at Tackle Trading as well. These are kind of one-time purchase, such as the Bear Market Survival Guide, kind of protecting and navigating bear markets, and our longer-term stuff, cash flow condors, cash flow system on the Russell, Tackle 25, a covered call-based system on a group of stocks we put together each year with the intent of cash flowing via covered calls, step system, our approach to swing trading the markets. Each of these are a kind of a one-time purchase. The system is yours for life. Once a month, we get together with members of each of those teams in a mastermind group. We invite all of our pro members to join us, regardless of whether or not you have the Tackle 25 as a pro member. You are welcome to join. the Tackle 25 mastermind group that's going on right now, with Coach Greg over here at Tackle Trading. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But as a pro member, you are welcome to all of those mastermind groups. Not everything has to be a course. We do a lot of blog content, both in written and video format, be it more charting and tales of technician, more options and option theory, hearing from our awesome female trading community and the Women in Trading blog. These are going to be relatively short reads or watches, right? But just another way that we can answer questions or share ideas with members of our team during the week. Over in our Trade Center, which is where we are right now, I am on the Trade Center page here. This will bring you to kind of a what's up at Tackle Trading page. What's our next show, recent posts, recent tweet, a little watch list that you can build for yourself if you would like to do so. A replay of one of our YouTube webinars, typically the halftime report, where you are in any of the courses that you're taking, a little mini calendar for the what's coming up in the immediate future here at Tackle Trading. So just kind of a what's up page. There's also a variety of trader tools in here as well. You'll find the market skyline in here. You're just going to kind of find all of the big stuff and their charts, right? The index charts, S&P, Dow, NASDAQ, RUT, Bitcoin, the VIX, emerging markets, all world ETF. So we can kind of get that big picture view. The major commodities, gold, silver, copper, crude, etc. The sector spider ETFs. So you can kind of see, is anything standing out from a sector point of view? Only one sector was able to close in the green today over in the utilities space. So just kind of all of the big stuff that's so important to a daily routine. We'll talk a lot about using these in our daily routines in that 7-step guide to trading course. I think it can make you a much better trader if you take that top-down analysis. It doesn't have to be on this page, of course, but this is something that we as a community are going through each and every day as part of that daily routine, kind of identifying what's going on in the different parts of the market, right? There's also a link to the finviz.com to their heat map page. So you can take a look at the day that was from a heat map perspective. Pretty cool. Find that right there. There's a link to a news aggregator. This will kind of go through some of these bigger financial sites like Wall Street Journal, The Times, CNBC, kind of grab their headlines. And as you can kind of see here, just kind of stack them. So I can easily browse through, see if anything is interesting to me. If it is, click on it. If it's not, just pass it by. Just really designed to save some time, right? Bouncing back and forth time, if you will. I'll link to the economic calendar so you can see what's on the docket for today or for this upcoming week that can impact your trading decisions. Another link to our report, which talk shortly about. You can also find them up here on the drop down. Link to the compounding gains calculator, a chart if you ever need one, our glossary, our search tool. Search tool you can also find right up here as well. You'll also find a link to our trade journals in here. I can grab this. You can get to our trade journals really one of two ways. You can either do what we just did directly in the Trade Center, and I prefer to do it this way simply because it takes me right to the video tutorial if you need some help with it. I know not all of us are super savvy at spreadsheets. A lot of people are, but some of us, myself included, are not. It's really helpful to have a kind of a tutorial for me at least. So just kind of walk you through the process there. You can also get it directly on the drop down of the Trade Center as well. If you come into it through the Trade Center like we just did here in the tools section here, you will be able to download here as well. We'll have the trade journal, which is kind of exactly what you think. We need to tell it what we did, when we did it, how much of it we did, right? And it's going to kind of track the rest, our profit loss, how long we're in the trade, right? It's going to track the big picture stuff. What's our average winning trade make us? How much does our average losing trade cost us? Bottom line, all of that good stuff. And journaling our trades is so important because it's how we get personalized data so we can make adjustments, right? If I, trade 50 bull breakouts, I'm going to win some and lose some. I'm almost sure of that. But now I can actually go in and compare those and say, okay, well, what was working, what wasn't? Maybe I was getting into aggressive. Maybe I was too fast to move my stop loss. Maybe I was too slow to move my stop loss. Maybe my stop loss was starting out too far away, right? Who knows what my personal stuff will be or yours, but, because we're journaling the trade, we'll be able to identify it and make it better, right? There's also the theta research tool. This is where we can build and compare our cash flow strategies. We're big fans of cash flow trading here at Tackle Trading. And the theta research tool will allow us to build and compare our covered calls, our credit spreads, our naked puts, all of that good stuff. Fantastic tool if you're a cash flow trader, that's for sure. And then the portfolio journal, just to make sure you kind of stay organized, right? Some people might only have a handful of trades going on at any given time, and staying organized is fairly simple. Other people might have 30, 40 trades going, right? And maybe not so much. Regardless, we got to be on top of it. We got to know where we are at all times, right? And the portfolio journal will help you do that. If you come into it through the Trade Center like we did, just select the one that you want, easily download it there. And again, the tutorial will be here if you need it as well. So over in the Trade Center itself, just really kind of a what's up, and as well as some trader tools. If you go to the drop down, you will find another link to that trading glossary. You'll also find a link to the tackle trading playbook. This is where you'll find all of our strategies, the rules for those strategies, and all of that good stuff. We break our strategies down into 3 core components based off of the option Greeks: Delta, Theta, and Vega. Our Delta is our directional playbook, right? I think the stock's going from 50 to 55, from 47 to 45, whatever it might be, from point A to point B, right? So of course that would include buying or selling stock, but that also include, long options, debit spreads, ratio spreads, diagonal spreads, basically movement-based strategies, right? Then there's the Theta playbook. This is our cash flow, right? The great thing about options is we can sell them and take advantage of that passage of time. That's going to be our covered calls or our naked puts or our credit spreads or our condors. And then lastly, the Vega or the volatility playbook, where we're playing the expected volatility. We're getting right around the corner. I mean, we're basically in earnings week, right? We got some of the big names reporting this week as earnings season gets kicked off. Of course, there's no way I can know that company XYZ is going to have a good or a bad earnings report, but I might feel like I have an edge based off of its history. It tends to move a lot during this earnings time. Maybe I want to build a trade that profits as long as it moves a lot one way or the other, right? So basically playing into the expected volatility, like straddles and strangles and things of that nature. In all of these, we'll have a detailed video kind of going over the strategy. What is it? Why would we choose it? What are our rules for it? How would we build it? What does the risk reward situation look like? All of that good stuff. The little downloadable PDF, so you have an easy access to the rules. You'll also notice that on all of them, we have anywhere from a 0 to a plus or a -3. And this is just kind of, we always want to match the strategy to our read of the situation, right? Of course we do. And this is just kind of where we see these strategies along that spectrum, if you will. 0 being, flat neutral, plus or -1 being slightly bullish or slightly bearish, 2 or -2 being bullish or bearish, and then 3 or -3 being very bullish or very bearish is kind of how I like to think about it. But it's just kind of where we see the strategies along those lines. So if you think it's going to be a nice, slow quarter, just a grindy trend, maybe a long call is not the thing that you want to look towards. Maybe you want to find something that's a little closer to, 1 or 2, right? And so always want to make sure we're matching the, strategy to the situation. You'll find all of that in here in the Tackle Trading Playbook. Again, you'll find that on the drop down of the Trade Center here. That'll kind of wrap us up for that first part. Some of the big things that you can do on your own. A lot of things that you'll be able to do when we kind of get into phase 2, doing things with others. Most of those are going to be recorded and archived, so you can also catch the replays and stuff, as we'll kind of see here shortly. But hopefully that gives you an idea of some of the things that we have here at Tackle Trading. Let's talk a little bit about the things that you can do with others, aka the schedule, right? We're going to be with our team every single market day, one way or another, starting out with our Traders Lounge. Every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, we get together with the team in our Traders Lounge. Just a really laid back place where our team can come in, talk trading, ask for help, share ideas, whatever they need to do. That's what we're going to do in that Traders Lounge, right? So you're always welcome. You're welcome to just sit in and be a fly on the wall. You're welcome to come in. Hey, I'm struggling, with managing naked puts. Can you walk me through it? Hey, I've got a trade set up. And, what do you guys think? Right? Just great place to be able to come in, talk trading with other traders and get help by an actual person if you actually need it. So that's every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time. This is going to be the one show that we don't record regularly because, quite bluntly, no one's going to go watch one from 6 months ago, right? But we will record snippets and we will get them posted in here as well. So say maybe your schedule is such that you just are at work when the lounge is going, but it would be helpful to have a coach walk you through something. It's not a big deal for us to hit the record button, get a snippet, put it in here for folks to catch a little bit later. So don't hesitate to let us know if something like that needs to happen. We're happy to accommodate, no doubt about it. That'll go for an hour. Shortly after our Traders Lounge, we're going to head over to our YouTube channel, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, for the Tackle Trading Halftime Report, live looking at the market, going through that daily routine, right? Indexes, sectors, major commodities, stocks in the news, right? That whole shebang. I always think about the market like a soap opera. And like any good soap opera, if you've been watching it for a long time, it's fairly easy to stay on top of it. But if you're just starting into it or haven't been paying attention, it can take a little while to get into it, right? And it's important to stay on top of the market as a trader for sure. So we'll be going through that daily routine every single day, or every single market day, I guess I should say, 12:30 p.m. Eastern over on the YouTube channel. So whether it's here at Tackle Trading in the Lounge at 11, over on YouTube at 12:30 for the halftime report, we will be working the markets with the team each and every market day. Then we're going to have our evening schedule. In our evening schedule, let's kind of start with the Coaches Show. The Coaches Show is Tuesday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. It will be recorded and archived. If you can't catch it right now, Coach Tyler's been doing an awesome series on the step system. Going to be part 6 tomorrow. So you can go back in and catch the last several. Definitely worth doing for sure. But the Coaches Show really allows us to tackle a subject, whether just for the day or for a series like Coach Tyler is doing in the step system right now. There's so many things that we could talk about as traders, right? And they're fun to talk about, but we do need to have a little bit of focus as well, right? And that's what I love about the Coaches Show. We can have a focus. Hey, let's just talk about the step system, swing trading style, right? Let's just talk about using moving averages. Let's just talk about building earnings, debicons, whatever it might be. It's a lot of fun and very informative for sure. Tuesday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. It will be recorded and archived, as you can see here. So if you can't make it, if you want to go back and watch an episode on something you find interesting, should be very easy to do. Thursday nights, also at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do our cash flow club. There's going to be a little more narrowly focused, as the name probably gives away, on those cash flow strategies, right? So we're going to be talking about building and managing those theta trades, the covered calls, the naked puts, the credit spreads, right? The condors, those type of strategies, building and managing those types of trades. If you're a cash flow trader or incorporate some cash flowing into your overall trading plan, I think you'll really enjoy that cash flow club. And again, just like the Coaches Show, recorded and archived, very easy to go back and catch an episode if you missed it, or catch it at a more convenient time, or watch something that you find interesting. You'll find it right there in that link. As I brought up a little bit earlier, the step system, Tackle 25, Condors, Hard 14, all of these different systems, they are, we meet together with those teams every month in a mastermind group, and we do invite all of our pro members to join in. So if you want to go in and join or catch the replay, learn a little bit about what those systems are all about, or just learn a little bit more about Condors, or learn a little bit more about covered calls or whatever, very easy to do. You are, of course, always welcome to join us in those mastermind groups. And again, they will also be recorded and archived for you to catch up if you need to do so, or if you need to miss the week, or whatever the case might be. Those are a little less rigid on the schedule than the Coaches Show and the Traders Lounge and the Cash Flow Club, but by and large, they are on Monday evenings. They are most of the time going to be on Monday afternoons or evenings, depending on where you live. Very easy to kind of make sure you know what's going on over in the events calendar. You'll find what's on the docket today, what's the link for the show, how do I get into it. Very easy to do directly in here. We have a tremendous team of female traders with us here at Tackle Trading. They get together about once a month in their Women in Trading Mastermind group. Of course, I don't get to go, but I do know the team. I know they're having fun. I know they're getting some good work done in there. So if you are a woman in trading, or if you know of a woman in trading, certainly let her know to come on and join the awesome ladies of Tackle Trading. I'm sure she'll have a great time and learn quite a bit. That tends to be about once a month. We'll make sure that we let the team know when it's scheduled, as you can kind of see here, one coming up here this week. For the gals of tackle trading, definitely something to take advantage of. And sorry, fellas, you'll just like me have to find something else to do that day, but that's all right, right? So, kind of an overly simplified way I like to think about it is the lounges for Q&A. It's really for our team. What do you need us to talk about today? That's what we'll talk about today, right? It's really going to be focused specifically on our team. The halftime report's really about that daily routine, working through the markets one step at a time. And then the evening shows are where we can take that deeper dive, put on the teacher's cap a little bit, right, and dive into these different subjects. And while that probably is a little bit oversimplified because there's going to be some crossover in all of it, I would say hopefully it can help you keep a little bit organized as you're getting to know us. On Fridays, we as a group of coaches are getting together as the market's wrapping up for the week in what we call our scouting report meeting. This is where we start to put together our weekend reports, starting with the Tackle newsletter. Tackle newsletter is a look ahead to next week in the market. What's going on? What was the week that was, right? So, what was the storylines that were moving the market? How, where do we finish? What does it look like technically? All of that good stuff, some sector talk, catch you up on the news, all of that stuff. Take a look at the upcoming economic calendar, make sure we're on top of any of the big things that can move the market. Of course, we'll have a video kind of going through this stuff with you, where we are in the broad market, be it the S&P, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, the Russell 2000, from a technical perspective, ETFs that track them if you happen to need them, DIAs for diamonds, QQQ for the NASDAQ, IWM for the RUT, and SPY for the S&P. Take a look at the internal indicators to kind of look under the hood, if you will, right? Sometimes when we look at, say, an index with, the S&P is weighted, right? And it's weighted because Amazon and Tesla and Apple and Microsoft, because Google, some of these companies are so big, can kind of give us a maybe not quite the total picture, right? So we're going to look at the internals of the market, taking a look at over 8,000 stocks to get a better idea of what the market really looks like underneath the hood. We're going to be ranking the sectors each week based off of what we see on the companies within those sectors. Here on our gridiron, we're going to use the sector spider ETFs to reflect those different sectors. If you're unfamiliar with the sector spiders, they are ETFs. They go into the S&P 500. We'll pull out stocks on a sector by sector basis. So, for example, XLK is the technology sector, XLU, the utility sector, XLE, the energy sector, right? You can pull out those stocks, weight them accordingly because it's coming out of the S&P 500, put them into a portfolio. And that's what we're getting here. We're getting an isolated look at energy versus technology versus real estate, right? If you want to learn a little bit more about those, they're definitely helpful, I think, to understand. You can find more information directly over on the ETF provider's website. I always will say go straight to the source. Their website is just the word sector, spdr.com. And in there you can see, how they're built, how they're weighted, who's in them, all of that fun stuff. We're going to use those sector symbols to reflect the different sectors on our gridiron. We're going to group our sectors into three core areas. You're going to have the growth sectors. That's going to be technology, discretionary, and communications. You're going to have the cyclical sectors. That's going to be financials, industrials, basic material, and energy. And then you're going to have the defensive sectors. That's going to be healthcare, staples, real estate, and utilities. And each week, we're going to be moving these up, down, or maybe keeping them the same based off of what we're seeing on the stocks that build those sectors. So not specifically XLE or XLC, but the companies within those ETFs, right? We'll kind of talk you through the thought process, why we upgraded, why we didn't do anything, why we downgraded in the video portion of that. As you can kind of see here, I'm going to put it on a football field. Between the 40s is neutral, maybe a little bit of a skew, between the 40 and 20, slightly bullish or bearish, between the 20 and the goal line, bullish or bearish. It is extremely unlikely that we're going to put an entire sector into the end zone. That's more aggressive than we are. I've personally never done it. You never say never, but I'm fairly sure that I never will. I don't expect to. It's hard. I mean, every single stock would have to be extremely bearish or extremely bullish in that condition, right? There could be no outliers, which is there's usually an outlier to running around. If you are a football fan, you know that you spend a lot of time between the 20s, right? It's you get into the red zone, the 20 to the goal line. It's tough to punch that in, and that's definitely true here. It's even tougher here at Tackle Trading to do that. At the end of our meeting, we do a rapid fire. Just each coach will kind of share their favorite setup from our stock or options report, kind of talk a little bit about what they like about it. Just kind of a fun way to end the meeting. We are very active over on Discord. If you haven't had a chance to join us, you can find the link to that directly here in the newsletter. It's an awesome way to be able to talk trading with traders. Come on over and join us. Hope to see you there. Very easy to get up and running there. A little friendly reminder just to make sure you're matching the strategy to the situation, right? We have a pre-built scanner in here. So if a particular sector has caught your eye and you said, you know what, I'm really thinking maybe there's something going on here in technology, you can smack that button. This will bring you to finviz.com to a pre-built scanner of a group of what I call trader-friendly stocks, simply meaning very liquid, very easy to trade from a stock perspective, borrowable, so I can go short. They are all optionable. If you're an option trader, you know that just because a stock has options doesn't mean those options are particularly liquid or those spreads are particularly tight. Definitely want to go in and double check that. I would say as a whole, lots of things in here are pretty option friendly, but I would also say that in every one of these sector scans, there are some names that I personally would never, look to trade the options on, but we can check, not a big deal, whether it's through equity or through options. If I find something in here I want to trade, I'm going to be able to build a trade on it, right? And I can easily just kind of quickly do a little bird's eye view side by side, right? Maybe I like this bearish retracement into this old support on WDC here. Now, I never would even think about trying to build a trade off of this, but I can kind of see what that chart looks like. Go look at it on an actual charting platform, see if there is something there. Or maybe you're liking maybe this breakout above this 180 zone on VRSN here, right? Maybe I go look at it on my charting platform. It doesn't look as good. Sometimes it looks a little bit better from a mile high like we are right here. But this is a very easy way to quickly go through a lot of stocks in an area that's caught your attention, whether it's from a bullish or a bearish perspective, quickly gather some ideas, go in and, take a look, see if it's worth an add to the watch list. It really is a great tool. I'm a huge fan of it. So again, we'll have that built up for all of the different all of the different sectors. Quick world watch. Where's the all world ETF, the dollar index, the emerging market index, right? And just some quick final thoughts to wrap it up. It's a big part of what we're doing here at Tackle Trading every single week, making sure that we're on top of the market is, of course, goes without saying how important that is, right? Then we're also going to put out our stock options and commodity reports. Coach Mark typically puts out our commodity report, going to talk about, the technicals, the fundamentals, and kind of the themes going on within the world of commodities in gold, silver, crude oil, copper, all of that fun stuff. Going to talk about that. Going to kind of share some ideas of things that we could look at if any of those particular areas has caught our attention as well. Our stock and option report are going to be built fairly similar to one another, where we're going to share some swing trading setups with the team, both bullish and bearish. That's true in the stock report. That's true in the option report. In the stock report, however, these things might not have super liquid options, or they might be really cheap, or maybe the spreads were just a little wider than we liked. In the option report, all of us were comfortable with the idea of trading the option side of things. Hey, you can always go look and see if there's something in the stock report that that's caught your eye, but you prefer to trade options. You can go take a look at the options, right? See if that liquidity is there. If it is, great. If not, okay, just no big deal. It's stock or nothing. If you've ever been stuck in an illiquid option trade, you know that you don't want to do it again, right? It's not any fun. But for especially us here in the States, most of us have $0 commissions. It's not a big deal to take a stock trade. The conversation will be a little bit different in the video portion of the report as well. because we're looking at the stock report from a stock perspective, going to spend a little bit more time, kind of purely on the technicals, if you will, right? Whereas in the option report, while the technicals are every bit as important, of course, we're going to talk a little bit more, spend a little more time talking strategy selection, right? This might be a scenario where poor board covered call makes sense. This might be a scenario where, the options are so cheap, maybe we just, buy the put or whatever the case might be. So we'll talk a little bit about strategy selection in the options report as well. We just want to make sure that we're sharing some trade, some ideas, some swing trading ideas with members of the team each and every week, both from a bullish and a bearish perspective. These will be swing setups. All right, so little breakout candidate here on HTHT, for example, or a little bit of a flag based pattern here on PVH. So they will be technically, swing trade technical setups here. There are a couple things I always like to show people. Your trend line tool, if you're unfamiliar with the Trading View embedded charts that we have here, is right in here. You can easily draw your trend line. So this would be a breakout candidate. Didn't get any follow through off of that Friday close today with the gap down, but to my eyes, still a viable breakout candidate. Probably don't have to worry about it happening tomorrow, but still a breakout candidate if it can hold that low. And maybe you disagree, and that's okay, right? Just to kind of walk you through this. But it's defaulted to the daily chart for candlesticks, as you can see. If you do prefer bar charts, you can easily switch that over there. If you want to go in and look intraday, see if there's something that you might want to use for a stop loss or an entry, or just take a bird's eye view at the chart, can easily do that as well. If you want to take a look longer term, you can look at the weekly chart, monthly chart, whatever the case might be. Very easy to do. If you want to add an indicator or two, you can just smack this button, add your, find your indicator, add it. Do be aware that it's not going to save it. So if you add, a couple indicators and leave and come back, just be aware that the indicators won't be coming back with you. Not a huge deal. Just want to make sure that I know about that, so I don't put a bunch of indicators, close the page, come back later, and wonder what happened to them. So this guy right here is particularly useful. This is where we can build long or short positions. So since this is a breakout candidate for me, at least on HTHT, I'm not going to be too specific. That's my entry above that resistance level. I've got a target in mind up there in that $46 range, or just maybe slightly below that. I don't know where my stop would want to be today based off of that the pattern, but let's just say that for the time being, that's where I want my stop loss. Going to help me visualize the trade, of course. Going to let me know what my risk to reward is for every dollar I'm risking. I have $3.10 of potential reward on that trade. Much like most traders, I want to have at least a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Certainly happy to have a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Maybe you feel that, well, I think my stop would have to go below this low, right? Well, I'm risking $1 to get $1.71. Maybe it's just not there, right? Or maybe, after, a few days, when it hypothetically breaks out, you feel like 44 is the target. So very easy to kind of visualize the trade, get the risk to reward out there, make sure that the trade is in fact worth taking. So that will be in here for both the bulls and the bears. Really handy tool. I use it quite a bit. So that'll be the stock and the options report. We'll get all of these reports delivered to you by Saturday afternoon, so you have plenty of time to go through them before the market's back up and running on Monday. We just want to make sure our team has some ideas. I don't expect that you're going to like all the same things I like, right? But it's not about what you don't like. Maybe you look at HTHT and say, I don't like that at all, Frank. That's fine. No big deal, right? It's about the things that you do like. So, find the setups that we like, add them to our watch list. The rest, maybe you just don't like that area of the market. Maybe you don't like that particular name. Maybe you're already got plenty of exposure in that sector or industry, right? Whatever it might be. You never have to explain to me or anybody else why you don't want to take a trade, but we do want to make sure that we share some actionable ideas with our team, whether they're trading stock, trading options, trading commodities, trading all of the above. Want to make sure that we are sharing some actionable ideas with the team each and every week in those reports. So that will be that third component, the weekend reports. As we get wrapping up here, just a couple of other things though. Our tackle today is our daily email. Very easy to get signed up for it if you'd like to do so. Just a quick thoughts going into the day, as well as the schedule and all of the links for what we're doing that day at Tackle Trading. We will post it on this page. It'll get delivered to your inbox faster for sure, but you can also catch it, directly on the Tackle Today link if you would prefer to do so. If you'd like to get signed up for the daily email, very easy to do right in there. The Huddle is a podcast that we do at the end of the week, just kind of quickly going through the top 10 stories of the trading week. Just make sure we didn't miss anything big, right? You can catch the Huddle on any of your favorite podcast providers, or if you're like me, you can just go directly to the Huddle and listen to it right there. I'm not much of a podcast guy. Speaking of podcasts, each week our friends over at tradingjustice.com do the Trading Justice podcast. Fantastic financial podcast, very informative, a lot of fun. You can find the Trading Justice podcast on any of your favorite podcast providers. You can also find it over at tradingjustice.com. Definitely a good addition to that weekly routine. Always a lot of fun and always very informative. Again, that's the Trading Justice podcast over at tradingjustice.com, where you will find that. If you ever, want to take a closer look and get any information on, any of the different, premium systems or coaching or whatever we have to offer, very easy to find over in that store tab. We are active on all of the different social media platforms, via Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. If you're using those platforms, certainly invite you to come on over and join us. Of course, here on YouTube, we're probably, I don't know, maybe this is just my read of it, but it feels like we're kind of best known for our live stuff, our halftime report every day, our Trade Masters webinar that we do on Wednesday nights. We do a lot of free webinars here on YouTube as well, but we have a lot of content over on our channel. We have an entire playlist on Thinkorswim tutorials, a lot of walkthroughs, a lot of how-tos, a lot of what are's, and we're always thinking of things that we can add to the channel to make it more useful for our community. So if you haven't already, would certainly appreciate a subscribe and smacking that notification bell. It certainly does help us within the big machine that is YouTube. Hopefully it'll help you be alerted to any time we're going live or have added anything new as well. As we wrap up here, one thing I always like to tell people is we all kind of build our own tackle trading. Right? There's not one correct way to use tackle trading, right? Somebody who's brand new probably going to use a little bit different than a 10-year veteran who's primarily just trading cash flow systems, right? Somebody who's 9 to 5 with a family might use a little different than somebody who's retired, right? And that's okay, right? We want to fit trading into our lives, and our lives are not one size fits all, right? So don't be afraid to build your own tackle trading. The things that you prioritize are perfectly fine. Maybe you are a brand new trader. You're focused on things like the newsletter and technical analysis 101 and not so much doing a whole lot in the world of options today, right? Maybe that's not true. Just a kind of an example there, but don't be afraid to build your own tackle trading. We do a lot of content. We're going to be live with our team a lot throughout the week, and it can feel a little bit overwhelming. You are not required to be in everything. You're welcome. We certainly invite you, and we have team members that I pretty much always see, no matter what show we're in. But it's okay if that's not you, right? Most of these things will be recorded and archived. You can always catch them later. Go back and revisit them when you're ready. Not a big deal. Don't be afraid to build your own tackle trading. And I certainly thank you so much for your time checking out Tackle Trading. If you're a new pro member, I welcome you to the team. It's great to have you. I'm sure I'll see you around. I'm around a lot, be it the YouTube, on Twitter, and Step, the different shows. Certainly will be a see you later and not a goodbye. If you're not yet a pro member, certainly appreciate you checking out Tackle Trading as well. We do have a standing offer of a free 15-day trial. You'll find it in the description of any of our YouTube videos. You can take a look at what we're kind of doing here underneath the hood, see if it's a good fit. If it is, awesome. If it's not, that's okay. I want you to succeed in the market one way or another, but I think you will enjoy it. So if you are interested, that is a standing offer. When you are ready to do so, be happy to help you out on that side of things. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Wish you nothing but a fantastic rest of the day. Have a great week, both in and out of the market. I will be seeing you again, probably most of you, one way or another in the not too distant future. But until then, thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Welcome to Tackle Trading, and I will see you soon.